Glenn, do you have something new?
Well, I have a report on what has been happening over in Frankfort from a listener, Don Van. Don, our indications earlier was that Frankfort has indeed been hard hit in some sections and that they needed all the assistance they could get. What is your view?
Yes, sir. The eastern portion of the city has been basically flat. That's in the Jet area. We lost service stations, several trailers overturned. There's roughly 17 people injured at this time. They're trying to dig out from under the debris. They have the area cordoned off, of course, so no one can get in. We were coming through, and they stated that they didn't know how many injuries they would have, but we have help from Shelbyville, Shelby County, Franklin County, Woodford, and a couple other areas, and with ambulances, and it's a steady stream to the hospital.
Okay. Don, thank you for the call from Frankfort.
Okay, Glenn, Byron Crawford is here, and he was going to talk a little bit more about the curfew. But in all of this, talking about the curfew and the severe weather which is coming in, we did have the story a few minutes ago, and from our understanding it is accurate. At least 3 dead so far in the Louisville area, 14 dead across the state of Kentucky from tornadoes this afternoon so far. 2 of the dead were taken to General Hospital. 1 of the deaths reported in the St. Matthews area. Byron?
Chuck, I have some terribly grim news, and we always hesitate to put these figures on the air. But I've been in touch with authorities who are probably as close to the Brandenburg situation as you can be without actually being in the town of Brandenburg. And although the authorities caution me that they have not yet confirmed the figure, the unconfirmed figure of dead in Brandenburg is 22 persons.
Glenn Baston, you have some more information.
Well, I have Civil Defense Headquarters in Frankfort on the line now. Mr. Arnett, you tell me that you can indeed confirm that tragedy in the Brandenburg area.
Yes, the tornado pretty much hit Brandenburg full scale. We have a confirmed 23 casualties at Brandenburg.
What time, do you have any idea what time this all happened? Was this prior to Louisville, or?
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead, say it again.
Well, I'm just trying to get some idea of what actually happened down there. There was a tornado, but did it sweep through a residential section, or do you have that information?
And, okay, they were right in the path of the tornado, and it walked right through town and just went on out the other side. It happened to hit the residential and business district, which of course made it all the casualties.
Was this late afternoon that this occurred?
I'm trying to look here at a report when it hit. I've got a number here about 4:10.
Glenn, you please pick this up. This is a reporter from the Meade County Messenger in Brandenburg, and would like to fill us in on what has happened.
Hello.
Yes.
This is WHAS?
Yes, this is Jane Willis with the Meade County Messenger in Brandenburg,
Yes,
and I wondered
Jane.
if you all wanted any information.
Please, we are on the air live now. Please give us all you have.
Okay, it happened right at 4:10. That is the time our clock stopped. The downtown section where we live and work is pretty much demolished. 3 people were taken out dead from the downtown area. There were a large number that were injured, whether seriously or not. You know, we heard these reports of people being taken out on doors. It was true. That's what we had to carry them out on. The 24 figure that has been given by the state policeman, they have set up a morgue at the high school. One that we know was dead was Robert Dressel, who was a councilman at Muldrow, a city councilman. And he was killed in the downtown area. And he has been identified. There is at least 1 missing that we know of, missing. It's just terrible.
Jane, our reports from Civil Defense Headquarters used a figure, I think, 23. You are saying 24 plus 1 missing, is that correct?
The state patrolman told me 24. And one of my friends said we can't find this friend's mother. And
what about the physical property of the town? What happened to that? What has it done to Brandenburg?
Well, it's in a shambles, an absolute shambles.
Glenn, we have an emergency call here from Frankfurt. Those people in Frankfurt were, of course, hard hit today, and they need drug supplies very badly, apparently drug supplies of all types.
It's 10 minutes of 10 from WHAS Louisville, Kentucky. We did have a bit of an earthquake in the Ohio Valley this afternoon. It was centered in southern Illinois. They also tell us that it was one of the larger earthquakes that we've had in some time. Milt, how about coming over here? I think that might solve our problem somewhat. You have been outside. I saw you walking in the front door. Have you seen any of the areas in town that have been hit?
No, I have just seen some extraordinary film footage that our photographers and reporters have done. And I have talked to as far away as Bloomington, where they've had some earth tremors there, but I have not seen it in person. Hello, this is Metz. Come in, please.
Yes.
You're on.
Mr. Metz?
You're right, sir.
Mr. Metz?
Yes.
Sir, my name is Leon Allman, and I live here in Louisville, right in Shively, and I've been hearing quite a bit about the devastation down in the Brandenburg area. And I know that a lot of people are like myself. There are a lot of small communities around Brandenburg, and no one is able to get a telephone call into these areas. As an example, Paynesville, Webster, Midway, little towns around Brandenburg that many of us in Louisville have relatives in those little towns around in that same county, and haven't heard any reports of it all. So if there's anyone that knows anything about what's happening, as an example, in Paynesville, in Meade County, and Webster, Meade County, if they would call in and let us know how those little towns are faring. Now, they're real close to Brandenburg, but we haven't heard anything. And we can't get any telephone calls down there, and they can't call us either. So, and I know I speak for quite a few people who in this area who do have friends and relatives in the little communities around Brandenburg. If some of them would call in, I think they'd be doing a service to your listeners.
Yes, and you have done a service to us, sir, by noting that, and I thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Now, it's possible that someone may have been in that area if phone service is out, and when they get out of the area would be good enough to call us here at 585-2385 with news of those small communities. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good night. This is Metz.
My name is Charlie Pickerel. I work at the Ford truck plant in the pre-delivery building. Along about 12 minutes to 5, a fellow from Dealers Transport asked me to come out and look and see what was going on in the sky, and I went out and looked towards the southwest. Here was this tornado coming down, and just as it touched down, you could see just sparks and everything coming far, and just explosions. I imagine it was a Crescent Hill Reservoir, and we watched this tornado for, I guess, maybe 4 or 5 minutes as it traveled up 42, just completely just tearing up everything. You could see roofs flying in the air and debris, and it would raise up from time to time, and in a period of 3 or 4 minutes, it just completely just disappeared.
A sensational, disturbing sight.
I never saw anything like it before in my life, and I hope I never see it again.
Right, sir. Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Here's a note from WHAS News. Hanover College in Indiana suffered a direct tornado hit in the storms that hit Kentuckiana. Most of the trees on campus were destroyed, as well as 2 sorority houses. There are no reports of injuries. I repeat, no reports of injuries. School officials at Hanover say all the students are safe and all have shelter. No need for parents to worry. 585-2385, Milton Metz here. Hello.
Mr. Metz?
Right.
This is Lieutenant Dixon, the Army Ammunition Plant in Charlestown.
Lieutenant who?
Dixon.
Welcome, sir.
We have several hundred people here that live in the Louisville area, and they are wondering how they're going to get home if possible. Have you received any word on if they will be allowed to travel the streets?
Well, let me put it this way, Lieutenant. There is a voluntary curfew over all Jefferson County till 6 a.m., but there is a mandatory curfew for a portion of eastern Jefferson County, and I understand that this is iron-bound, that even if one lives in that area, that one is not allowed to go in there. So it depends on where they live. My other information, and I have Byron Crawford here from WHS News, is that people are free to go outside of the mandatory curfew area. Is that right, Byron?
Milton, I have been led to believe from one of the police officials in the last hour or so that an absolute curfew has now been put on Jefferson County, the entire county.
I beg your pardon, this is the operator. It's 585-2385 on here.
That is right.
Can you give me another number to reach Milton Metz? We have an emergency from the governor's office.
This is Milton Metz, and you're speaking to him. Come in, please.
Hello, Milton.
Yes, how are you, Governor?
I'm doing fair under the conditions, Milt. We thought you've been having some questions about Frankfort, and I tried to bring you up to date on what we have here. The county judge and the mayor have asked for a curfew until 6 a.m. in the morning. We've had 4 reported deaths in this area. The King's Daughters Hospital had to give first aid and send casualties on over to the University Medical Center. And by the way, Milt, the University Medical Center had 10 medical teams available. Time we made the call at the center over there to give assistance to the hospital over here, they were here in 25 minutes with police escort. Probably the most tragic day in history of Kentucky, Milt. It's just bad all over, and we're just doing everything we can do. The federal disaster people will be on the ground at 6:30 in the morning. I've already talked with Mr. Cradle, who will be the coordinator for the federal people. Elmer Beckett, our civil defense man, will be the coordinator in Kentucky for the state. I've been in contact with Fort Knox and Fort Campbell, and they've been authorized to move in any direction that they have equipment and men available to assist in any of the areas that have damage. Stamping ground was the latest problem about an hour ago, I guess, maybe a little more if you haven't had that one. That little community was just flattened.
No, we have not had that, Governor.
Yes, so I have an update on the fatalities, which is a total of 66 confirmed in the state so far.
Eventually, the Kentucky fatality list would total nearly 80, nearly 50 in Indiana. 2,000 homes in Kentucky left uninhabitable. Damage in both Kentucky and Indiana would amount to better than $100 million. It would be days before the WHAS programming schedule would be back to normal, decades before evidence of the tornadoes could be erased. A national weather scientist the next week termed the April 3rd tornadoes the worst in the nation's history, saying that without the efficient warning systems and public awareness of safety precautions, the death toll in the South and Midwest would most certainly have been in 4 figures.
Day of Disaster. A WHAS Radio News special. A sequential review of the April 3rd tornado destruction in Kentucky and southern Indiana.